What is data modeling and how data modeling is used in entity relationship model? What is an ER model and what is the basic concept? What are several notations for ER diagram and mapping constant? What are keys? What is the concept of super keys, candidate key, primary key, generalization, aggregation, reducing ER diagrams into table and extended ER model? Hello everyone, I'm Sukanya from GoEduHub Technologies, and in this video we are going to discuss about entity relationship model and further ER diagram. ER model or entity relationship model is a model used for design and representation of relationship between data. There are major components of entity relationship diagrams, and those are entity, attributes and relationship. Entity can be any object, class, person or a place which is represented with the help of rectangles in any ER diagram. For example, if you have two entities, student and college, and those entities is having one-to-one relationship, which means many students can study in a single college. So student and college are here entities, study here is a relationship. So this is how a small one-to-one entity relationship can be made. Similarly, weak entity. An entity that cannot be uniquely defined by its own attribute, that has no unique existence, is known as weak entity, and it is denoted by double encircled rectangles. For example, bank account alone doesn't have any specific entity or any specific unique existence. It requires a bank where several bank accounts can be held together. So for bank is a strong entity and bank account is a weak entity as it cannot be uniquely defined. Similarly, coming next, what are attributes? If student is an entity, then student roll number, student name, student age and gender, etc. are its attributes. Attributes are denoted with the help of circle or ellipse format, and a line is denoted along with the entity. Simple attributes are denoted over here. For example, there is a student in this particular entity set, and the attributes are roll number, class and age of that particular student. Similarly, there can be composed attribute. It means several attributes build up together for making a simple attribute. For example, address can have street, city, country and state. A name can be composed of first name, middle name and last name of a particular student. Similarly, what are derived attributes? Attributes that which are not present in whole database management system but are derived using other attribute, it known as derived attributes. For example, student. Now, age is something which is not present in the whole database system, but they are derived by other attributes. For example, student attribute can have age. Here the attribute age is derived attribute as it can be derived from the attribute DOB. DOB automatically consists of age of that particular student, hence it is an derived attribute. Next, coming to single valued attribute. What do we mean by single valued attribute? As the name suggests, there is a single value, and in below example we can see that student is having single value of age, DOB and gender. That means all the attributes are single valued as they can take only one specific value. There can be one specific age, there can be a unique roll number, the DOB has to be a single DOB and the gender has to be specifically according to the student. Simple multi-valued attributes. Multi-valued attributes which can have more than one values or multiple values. For example, a student can have more than one email ID. Similarly, he or she can have more than one mobile numbers. Those are multi-valued attributes. So we have studied about entities, we have studied about attributes. Next come is relationship. When an entity is related to another entity, they are said to have built up a particular relationship. A relationship, for example, a class entity is related to student, that becomes student study in class. So that is a relationship. Depending upon the number of entities, degree is assigned to that particular relationship. For example, two entities are involved, then it is said to be a binary relationship. If three are involved, then it is said to be a ternary relationship. Similarly, next is if you want to check more about relationship or types of relationship, you can go to the tutorial. Next is ER diagram and what are ER diagram notation. Now, for building a ER diagram, you need several notation. The first is rectangle, which I have already said is used to denote the entity types. If your entity is weak, then it has to be denoted in doubly encircled rectangle. Similarly, for relationship, there is a diamond shape. And if your relationship is weak, that means along with a weak entity set, then it is to be enclosed in double diamonds. Lines are used to denote the flow or relation between or links between the attributes and its entity type. If something is primary key, you want to denote something as primary key, then the attribute has to be underlined. For example, you might have noticed here roll number is underlined because roll number is a primary key. One student has a unique roll number so that it can be identified. So these are the notation for drawing a ER diagram. Composite attributes are drawn with the help of two circle and then a single ellipse or circle for composite attribute. Next is mapping constraint. How can you map a particular constraint? For example, 1-to-1, when one person is being related or in relationship with, associated with one entity. For example, a male is married to a female. 1-to-many, customer, one customer can order from many places. Many-to-many, student can join n number of or m number of courses, that is many-to-many. And many-to-one is student, n number of students join in one particular college to build up a particular strength. So this is the mapping constraint. Now coming to the important part of DBMS, that is key. Now what is a key? A DBMS key is an attribute or a set of attribute which helps you to identify a row, tuple in a relation table. We have already studied in RDBMS, the relations are known as table and the rows are known as tuples. So if you allowed to find a relation between two tables, then you need a particular key. For example, primary key. A primary key is a column or set of columns that uniquely identifies a tuple or row of tuple. Primary key is basically combination of unique and not null constraint. It cannot be left null and it has to be having a unique set of value. For example, ID, roll number, employee ID, all such things can be listed as primary key because they are a column or a set of columns which is uniquely identified the particular tuple. Next is super key. A super key is a set of one or more column or attribute that uniquely defines the entire row of the table. For example, in the above employee table which you have seen, for employee ID, employee name, the name of two employees can be same, but their employee ID cannot be same. For example, if I am having two employees naming Aman, both the first name is Aman, employee name is same, but the employee ID cannot be same. Hence, this combination can also be a key. The super key could be employee ID and employee ID would be combination of employee ID and name. Similarly, the candidate key. A super key with no redundant attribute is known as candidate key. In employee table, ID is best suited for primary key. Rest attributes like employee name, phone number, license or PAN number, these all can be considered as a candidate key because there is no redundant attribute. Alternate key, out of all the candidate key, only one key gets selected as a primary key. Okay, so now the remaining keys will be alternate or secondary key. Composite key is a key that consists of more than one attribute to uniquely identify rows in any particular table. That is known as a composite key. Similarly, the foreign key are the columns of table that points to the primary key of another table. Foreign key is used to set up a link between a table and another table existing in the database, so it becomes foreign key of the other table. For example, the department code here and the name and the teacher ID is there and department name is there, so it becomes the foreign key of the other table. This is also the concept of referential integrity 2, the foreign key constraint. Now, what is the difference between foreign key and primary key? This is a listed difference. Primary key helps you to uniquely identify a record in a table, whereas foreign key is a field in table that is primary key of any other existing table. Primary key never accept null values. Foreign key may accept multiple null values. Primary key is a clustered index, and data in DBMS are physically organized in the sequence of cluster indexed. Whereas foreign key has no as such concept of index. It cannot automatically create an index that is clustered or non-clustered. Next, you can have single primary key in a table, but you can have multiple foreign keys in a table. Primary key can be only one in any particular table, whereas you can have multiple foreign keys in other table. Next is generalization, aggregation, and specialization. Generalization is a process of extracting common properties from a set of entities and create a generalized entity of it. It is a bottom-up approach in which two or more entities can be generalized to a higher level of entity set and having some attributes in common. Specialization means you are dividing. Generalization is extracting and specialization is dividing into sub-entities and based on their characteristic. Aggregation is a process in which single entity alone is not able to make any sense in the relationship. It means a single entity has no existence in the real world. It has to be aggregated with one or other entity. Now there is several examples of ER model, and with the examples of aggregation, generalization, and specialization. That is, suppose I am doing a course, then the course I am doing is BTech, then BTech is generalization, and in branch CSE. So CSE is the specific branch which can be called specialization of BTech. Similarly, the aggregation, example of aggregation is student in school. When school is closed, if school is not any real world entity, then you cannot have student as an existing entity. Student alone cannot sound an entity in particular ER diagram. It has to be associated or aggregated with school. Now consider the following ER diagram and how can we make table with the help of it. So the entity, first entity is professor, next is class, and then the other entity is student. So professor has attribute PID, its ID, department, rank, salary, and its HKID. And the next class department is having the class ID. A particular class combiningly has an ID, the title, the year, and the department. And then the student, from department, his GPA and his student ID. So we can see that the rectangle are the entities which can make the table. So we are having 4 tables. So these rectangles basically make table. So the entities, so it can have 3 tables which will make into professor, class, student. So these are the table. And now there are ellipses which are the attributes. So we'll make the column. And we have several columns according to that in respective tables. That is, a professor table has PID, HKID, and department, rank, and his salary. The table CID, title, year, department come along the class table. Similarly, the student table is going to have CID, year, class, and his respective grade. So this is how we can fetch a ER diagram and make a table out of it. So how many rectangles are there? They are going to be the respective tables, and then you have to make the respective columns with the help of attributes. This is how we can reduce any ER diagram to the table. This is another example which you can refer from the tutorial. So basically in this particular video we have learned about the ER model and how ER model is made, what are its notation, and then how can be generalization, specialization, and aggregation be simplified into the ER diagrams, and how can we reduce a ER diagram to make a particular database table. For more queries, we will look into other videos. Thank you.